The self-proclaimed Marvel Jesus is in for a big second coming. Deadpool and Wolverine is dominating the charts again after earning $28.3 million on Friday. As the Ryan Reynolds-Hugh Jackman superhero two-hander enters its sophomore frame, it has already surpassed a $300 million domestic total and now ranks as the second highest grossing domestic release of the year so far, surging past Despicable Me 4 and Dune, Part 2. What's more, Deadpool and Wolverine seems primed to put up a much stronger hold than the average comic book adaptation. Superhero blockbusters can often see big drops in their second weekends after the first surge of fans have rushed to see the film. Rivals are putting the Disney release at a 55% drop though, demonstrating that Deadpool and Wolverine has immense appeal beyond Marvel diehards. The sequel has also maintained its dominance in premium large-format venues, like IMAX auditoriums. This weekend, records are continuing to fall for Deadpool, including the one for the highest domestic gross ever for an R-rated feature, held for more than 20 years by The Passion of the Christ, $370 million. Deadpool and Wolverine looks to blast past that figure only in its second weekend, and there's no real signs of slowdown after that. Meanwhile, M. Night Shyamalan's latest thriller, Trap, is doing solid business after earning $6.7 million across Friday and preview screenings at 3,181 locations. That's higher than the $5.4 million opening day by the director's last feature, Knock at the Cabin, which debuted in February 2023. The new feature, which stars Josh Hartnett as a serial killer avoiding a police sting at the pop concert he's brought his daughter to, is looking at a third-place debut, in line with projections for a three-day gross north of $15 million. Trap is largely self-financed by Shyamalan and distributed by Warner Brothers. Reviews lean negative, though the film didn't screen for critics ahead of opening day. Audience sentiment has landed at ambivalent, with ticket buyer survey firm Cinema Score determining a C+ grade for the feature. The so-so response might slow Trap down after its opening, but the mid-budget thriller is at least off to a solid start. Also opening this weekend after a couple delays on Sony's release calendar, the children's book adaptation, Harold and the Purple Crayon, is getting waxed after earning a meager $2.4 million on its opening day from 3,325 locations. The family film is in danger of debuting outside of the domestic top 5, behind the 8th weekend of Inside Out 2. At a production budget of $40 million, it's not necessarily impossible to imagine the Zachary Levi vehicle managing to draw some families through August to stick out a more financially forgiving total gross, especially after receiving an enthusiastic response from early audiences, an A- grade on Cinema Score. But terrible reviews and a projected $6 million debut suggest a less auspicious trajectory. Ambulance, Twisters, continues to maintain some speed in a crowded market, landing in second place once again. The Universal release is looking at $22 million in its third weekend of release, which would mark a 37% drop from its sophomore outing. The natural disaster thriller has now surpassed Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, $170 million, to become the 8th highest grossing domestic release of the calendar year. Universal also has another top 5 slot with Despicable Me 4, still drawing a crowd in its 5th weekend of release. The Illumination sequel is projecting $11.1 million over the 3-day frame for a 24% drop. Total domestic gross surpassed $300 million earlier this week, one of only 3 titles this year to notch that milestone.